All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be tackling an instrument knowledge test question, one that has to do with these guys down here, these HSIs. Okay, and we're going to be using these HSIs to figure out which of these aircraft we are on this course. This is a localizer course, okay? So this is HSI's use on a localizer, okay? So a couple things that are important to talk about at the beginning is, exactly what the HSI is. So it's a horizontal situation indicator. So what it does is it tells you your heading. So right here, like in B HSI, you have 215 degrees on your heading, but your course is set to, your OBS is selected on west, so 270. So you can actually have those things be different. And it's really good for giving your airplane uh, the information about where you're heading versus where the course is. Kind of different than what we saw with the actual VOR indicator. This is a little bit better. It's got a little bit more information on it. Notice it doesn't have, you don't have to from indicators on these. Okay. So that's pretty much what you have to know about the HSI in order to get going here. The course is going to be the yellow arrowhead there. That's where your course is selected to for your actual OBS, and then the orange here is your actual heading. The airplane's oriented straight ahead, just like you would be in the airplane, in the actual airplane, and then the course deviation lines right there. Okay. So in order to get going on this, a couple useful pieces of information you have to know when looking at this diagram. And one of the things is these HSIs will read differently if you're on the front course or if you're on a back course. Okay. So what's the difference and how do you know? So the front course is, on this case, this is actually really interesting that I use this diagram because I got this diagram directly from the FAA's computer testing supplement that I got on their website. And you'll notice that the shaded area right here is on the left. Notice how this shaded area right here, this whole area is on the left side. So the shaded area is on the left, which would usually indicate a back course, usually. But this diagram is printed wrong on the computer testing supplement. That's why I chose to use it here so I could show you guys. Notice these markers, the outer marker and the inner marker. You have marker indications which are only present on a front course, but you have this on the shaded on the left side, which is indicative of a back course, right? So either way, they're sending mixed messages. But just so you know, if you get this one, treat the one with the marker beacons on it as the front course. Okay, so that's going to be your front course side, and this will be your back course side. Even though, if you were an airplane, let's say you were an airplane and you were on this course right here. It's a pretty thick airplane, but it's all right. So you're on this course right here, flying this way. Since the shaded area is on your right, normally you would think this is the front course, but you have to treat this the other way around for this diagram. Okay, just treat it the other way. All right. So those can be a little tricky. Be on the lookout for that on your FA written test for the instrument rating. Okay. And then remember that your marker beacons are how you're going to figure out which side is the front course. Generally, it's really easy, quick and easy dead giveaway. All right, now that we have an idea of how this actually works, let's tackle some examples. So we'll start with A here. A. The question will read something along the lines of, using HSI as pictured in A, which airplane does this belong to? Something like that. Not exactly like that, but and then so you're going to be given, like 3 of these, right? Because the FA question only has 3. So maybe on this one you're given it's going to be, we'll call it 11. 5, and I don't know, 4. Those are the three answers. So you don't even have to consider any of these other ones because they're not on your test, right? So just don't even think about any of these. Like any of these are all out because you don't have to worry about them. So now you're going to go ahead and start every single problem with that. Figure out which ones you have to look at, and then try to figure out which of these 3 it is. So which of these are heading west? That's your step 2 is heading. So step 2 is heading west. So which of these are heading west? Well, 4 and 11 are both heading west, but 5 is not. So 5's right out, right? So you can kind of go ahead and do that. Now, the next thing you're going to do is check this course. See how this course is out here? It's deflected out here. So if the course is deflected out to the left, notice how the airplane would have to, look at this, the airplane would have to fly to the left to get onto this course, right? It would have to fly to the left. And that's an important thing to look at because we're not talking about reverse sensing here because if you look, the heading is west, but so is the course. So there's no reverse sensing going on, which means the airplane would actually turn left to get on the course. So if you actually look at these airplanes, number 4 is right out because, hey, number 4 is on the course already, not off course. So actually this one is interesting because you'd be given either 7 or 11 would both be acceptable answers for this one, okay? 7 or 11 would be acceptable answers for this one. And you know that you weren't given 7 as an option, so you know that this answer right here is going to be number 11, okay? But it could also be 7 if you were given 7. So just know that those both work because you both have to turn left to get on the course. So those would indicate that exact same way. Just because this guy's on the back course, right? So his is a little backwards. Not the front course like number 7 is. But number 7's pretty simple, right? If you took, the exact same thing we have in the diagram, see this left turn? You just turn left, then you're on the course and you can head into 270. Well, that makes sense. Look left, and then you're on the course, head into 270. Does that make sense, right? So that would be letter A would be either 7 or 11. But in our case, 11 because we don't have 7 as an option. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and do this all again, and we're going to figure out. Well, we don't want to get rid of the numbers there. We're going to figure out which of these does B belong to, okay? So this one we're going to do is B. So let me just get rid of this box. So that one's 7 or 11, and we'll do B next. So B's a little different than A. We're not on the heading the same as the OBS. The OBS is set to 270, which we know that's the front course, right? So that's good. And we know that the heading is 215 degrees. So if you look at your airplanes, which ones are heading southwest, right? We're somewhere between south and west. Which one's heading southwest? So any of these that are not heading southwest, they're all right out. So I'm looking up here and I'm seeing number 1. He's heading south and west, right? Notice his heading is like, if you put his heading out there, it'd be like southwest. None of these other airplanes are heading southwest. Not a single one of these are heading southwest. So this one's actually super easy. If you get one of these on the test, you're lucky because that was pretty easy. This one's going to be 1, right? I remember this one was 7 or 11, depending on which of the answers you actually were given, right? So if you were given those, then great. But if not, then just pick the one you were given. And this one's number 1 and that's the beauty of this method, right? Find the ones that match the heading, and then you're done if you don't have any other ones. Like in this example, you actually may get this one on the test. If you get anything that says 215 here, that's done. That question's over. You're number 1 and you're on your way, right? All right, then lastly, we'll do letter C here. So C. So this one's a lot similar to A. It's just that the only difference between these two HSIs is that this guy's got set. Notice how this arrow's right here on 270. This guy's got the back course set in. So because he's tuned his OBS to the back course, which keep in mind, don't do this. Just don't do it, and you won't have this problem just in the airplane. But we're not trying to talk about that right now. We're trying to ace this test, right? So for the testing purposes here, you got 090 bugged into the actual OBS, which means this guy's bugged into the back course, right? And even though we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I know the shaded areas on the right, so that's the front course, but the FAA doesn't want you to treat this as the front course. That's why they put these 2 marker beacons in. They just made a mistake when they published this diagram, okay? And they've corrected it since then. But if the testing center still has an old one or whatever, just be careful, okay? Because this can really trip you up. But just use the marker beacons, okay? Use the marker beacons. All right. So we're on 090 as the course. So this is our course we're actually dealing with here, okay? This is the localizer course that we're actually messing with here is this guy, okay? So if you actually think about the airplane being on a different heading, so this airplane is on a heading of west. This airplane's on a heading of west. So again, our options are the usual suspects on heading west, 7, 11, and 4, okay? But is he on the course? Is this guy on the course? Nope. This guy's not doing a very good job of flying this course, right? So what we can do is we can say, yeah, number 4, I'm going to have to say no. Sorry about that. No, you're not it, right? Because he's on the course and this guy's not. So now you're between 7 and 11. And how do you actually choose this? Because neither one of these guys can just turn left and get on the course like they both actually have depicted there, right? Neither one of them, because this is it. So you're thinking, oh, there's no answers for this. But this is a reverse sensing problem, okay? A reverse sensing. If you put in the wrong OBS, like this guy did, the 090 OBS here, it's all jacked up. And so the way you fix it is you just imagine your airplane the same way we did with the VORs, the VOR indicators before. You just imagine your airplane is flying. Your airplane is pointed the other way. Okay. So in this case, we're going to imagine our airplane is actually pointed this way. Okay. He's actually pointed down. So if he was pointed down and he was on the 090 course there, which turn would it be for him then? Which direction would he be turning? So he would be wanting to take a left turn and getting on the course, right? So that makes sense for both 7 and 11 to get on the course. So this answer is also going to be either 7 or 11. It's also going to be either 7 or 11. And if you think about it the way I think about it with the, are you going to turn left or are you going to turn right? It can get confusing when you put in the back course, right? But, and again, don't set a back course like this when you're flying airplanes, please. But that's how it would work in the plane, okay? And then lastly, don't worry, you won't get both 7 and 11 on the test, or you'll get one that says like C, 7 and 11, or 7 or 11, right? So, and that will just be your answer. So just be careful. These back course things can be a real doozy, and they can really trip you up. I know they tripped me up, and it just took me some time to figure those out, okay? So hopefully if you guys remember these steps. So step 1, eliminate the answers that you don't need for your question. Step 2, figure out which heading matches up. And then step 3, figure out, are you on the course? Are you off the course? And then lastly, always check that OBS for the back course, okay? So if you remember those steps, then hopefully you're going to go ahead and fly through this quickly and easily on your instrument written test, and you're one step closer to getting your rating. And I wish you the best of luck on your test. Thanks for watching.